Keith Baker.
Mita Mickens-Baker.
How long have y'all been together? How long have y'all been married?
First met in 1978 as sophomores in high school.
And we started dating in 1980, October of 1980.
As seniors.
So 44 years. We were senior sweethearts,
Yep.
and we've been married 38 years.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 38 years.
It's 38 because this year would be our 39th year.
Yeah, we've been married 38 years since November 1st, 1986.
Wow, that's amazing. So, how did this love story start? Y'all saw each other sophomore year, decided to start dating
Well,
senior year. What
I
happened
am
in those
going
2
to
years?
defer to my lovely wife because her story to me, even though initially I just sat on the side just thinking, why is she telling that story? But over the years, it has become so cute in the way she tells it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and although I think it has become cute.
Okay.
She, on the other hand, at the time, no.
So we knew each other sophomore and junior year. Our school started sophomore year, so we knew each other. But like I thought I should. I wanted him to be interested in me, but he wasn't during junior year. At least he didn't act like he was. And so, yeah, I tried to get his attention, and you didn't pay attention. So, senior year, first day of senior year, we end up in class together in chemistry class. And my best friend said, "So, do you want to sit next to Keith or do you want to buffer?" And I said, "I'm going to give him one more chance." And so I took the seat next to him. And then at lunchtime, when my friend and I, we were walking to lunch, he and his best friend were in a car going to lunch. And they stopped and asked if we wanted a ride. And so Keith got out to get in the back seat. And my friend said, "So do you want the front seat or back seat?" And I said, "I'm going to give him one more chance." So I'm getting in the back seat with him. And so I got in the back seat, and I don't know. I think,
Well,
but he says
well, I'm gonna
that they
tell
were already
now,
also
now,
scheming.
now. The other side, my side of the story, was that we did see them coming. I'm gonna back up a year. Toward the end of our junior year, I told my best friend, I am starting to really like Mita. So he asked me, well, what are you going to do? Because I was already in a relationship at that time. I said, well, I'm going to break off that one because it wasn't going in the direction that it needed to go. Um, so I did over the summer. So when we got back to school and that day happened, um, my best friend asked, so are you going to get in the back seat? Or are you going to stay up front with me? So I said, well, I'm going to get in the back seat and hope that she gets in the back seat. So again, there were two different conversations going on at almost the same time. So I got in the back seat,
And I got
in
the
the
back
back
seat,
seat, and our best friends were in the
the
front.
front seat.
Who, when we got married, her best friend was her maid of honor, and my best friend was my best man.
Yes,
Did they tell that story at the reception?
It came up.
it came up. Yeah. So we were kind of meant to be. We kind of realized it then, and we didn't actually start dating that day, but the relationship started building then.
Yeah.
And I was thinking when we were talking about doing this interview about how when we were in college and somebody told us that they called us the old married couple, and I was offended. I'm like, one, I'm not old, and what do you mean by that?
Right.
But
And we were freshmen.
yeah, but at this point,
we were we were freshmen.
but we were together, and we were
Right.
clearly not interested in other people. We were together and planning to stay together. And
You
but now I
gonna
look.
tell the story about what your mom said?
Oh yeah, I'll get that. But I
Okay.
just gotta say that as I look now back on it, it's like prophecy. So it's like we've lived to the point together
Hmm.
that we really might be the old married couple.
Yep. We're there now.
It might be good. We might call that good now.
Hmm.
So about my mom. So my mom was, kind of apprehensive that I was going to school already in a relationship, and was I making those decisions too
And
early,
and her boyfriend was going with
that
her.
that my boyfriend was going, and she was like, "Well, should you and Keith go to the same school?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to the school that has 20,000 people,
Hmm.
and I can't tell Keith he can't be one of the other 20,000 people. So I think it'll be okay." And so we got there, and one I called home every week on Thursday night,
Yep.
11 o'clock. And one night we went out, which we didn't usually do. We usually were studying, but this week we went out. And at some point we're at this club and we're dancing, and Keith goes, "Mita, you know what time it is?" And I go, "Yeah, it's like 10:50, I think it was." And he goes, "It's 11 o'clock." And I go, "Okay." And he goes, "It's 11 o'clock." And I go, "Well, we already finished our homework. What's the big
And
deal?"
that's 11
And he goes,
o'clock on
"It's 11
Thursday.
o'clock on Thursday night." And I was like, "Oh no, I got to go find a phone." So he went and found the phone booth,
All
and
right.
I called my mom, and she could hear the noise of the street because this is when phone booths were outside.
And
And
you got, and during the 80s, you reversed the charges.
yeah, because I wasn't on my
What-
on the phone in
right,
the dorm.
right.
And so she goes, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Well, I'm out." So I called you because it's 11 o'clock. And she goes, "Where's Keith?" And I said, "Right here with me." And she said, "Oh, then you'll be safe." And she never once after that thought that I had made that decision too soon. So yeah,
Did she end up finding out that he was the one that reminded you to call?
I don't know if I told her that or not because I
I
didn't want
don't,
to
I
admit
don't
that I
know.
forgot.
I don't know.
I don't
If
know.
so, it was many
Years later.
years
But the
later.
most important thing was that he was there with me and I was safe. And so, yeah, he's been keeping me safe ever since.
So where are y'all from?
From Washington,
Washington,
D.C.
D.C.,
And where'd y'all go to college?
Virginia Tech, and Blacksburg, Virginia.
Nice. What'd y'all study?
Biochemistry for me.
And chemistry for me.
Oh yeah. We couldn't tell him he couldn't be there. Y'all was going in like the same building at least on campus.
Quite a few
Yes.
times, quite a few times,
We
yes.
studied together most evenings.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes all night long. In the dorm, in the lounge of the
in the
dorm.
lounge.
We would be studying all night, writing papers and whatnot. And when they opened a computer lab on the other side of campus, back before everybody had a computer,
Hmm.
then I would go to work on my papers at night. So Keith would walk me across campus and sit with me while I worked on my papers. So yeah, he
Yeah,
really did keep me
did
safe.
my homework, did my papers. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time together. That wasn't a quote unquote date. A
A lot of study time.
lot of study time.
Lot of study time.
What attracted y'all to one another in the beginning?
Hmm.
I just thought she was.
Y'all were determined.
I just thought she was cute.
And I thought he was handsome and he was really nice. He was just honest, nice person, not scheming, not being silly. I
Oh,
I have a low
wait a
tolerance
minute,
of silliness.
wait a minute. There was a little bit of silly.
A little bit. Well, Daryl was like silly. Whoops.
That's okay. He
His
knows.
best friend. His
He,
best friend
oh,
liked
he
to
know. He
liked
still
to be
is.
funny, silly.
He still
And
is.
so you were the straight man to his silliness.
Yes.
That's still your best friend?
We to this day.
And what about you and your best
Oh,
friend?
my best friend's still my best friend. Yes.
Oh wow, that is amazing.
Yeah. When we go home, I get to see her every time we go home.
And then 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, my group of friends who I had not seen, we hadn't been together in about 40 years. We had a reunion in D.C. in 2023, so he was one of them. So it was great to see him, and he was the first one I saw when we got to the hotel. I jumped out almost. I mean, if I hadn't put the vehicle in park, uh, I mean, we jumped out, we hugged and hugged and hugged. I mean, like I said, 40 years since I've seen him. Well, proposed. It was dinner at Mita's apartment.
Yeah.
Um, I fixed
I
dinner.
caught a cold. I think we were supposed to
But you
go
go out
out,
and you caught a
and I
cold.
caught a cold, and
So I came and fixed dinner, and then I did get on the knee and propose.
You didn't want to wait till she got better and then y'all went to the restaurant? You
No,
was just like bump it.
I
no,
think that was our dating anniversary.
it was.
It was.
It was.
So the date was important to us. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
it
nice.
fell on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
and we
did.
would have gotten married on that day But that turned out to be homecoming day for Virginia Tech the year we were getting married. So we ended up getting married 2 weeks later than
We
that
kept
date.
moving it. With it. Okay, what about next weekend? What about the following weekend? No, something was coming up, and it ended up being November 1st. And I said, I said, at least
You will remember.
I will remember, because the first day in November, if I get like really old and forgetful, uh, I will remember the first day in November,
11-1.
11/1.
How long was the engagement?
It was
two
it
years.
was 2 years because we got engaged in '84.
Yeah. Enough time for me to go through every single bride magazine and pick everything that I wanted to have and happen. And it didn't quite work out that way, but it was fun. It was fun
Yeah,
preparing.
it was.
Yeah.
When y'all got engaged, were y'all still in undergrad or
Yes.
just
Mhm.
okay?
Hmm.
Yeah, we were. We were seniors. I was,
No. What?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Senior,
Right.
my senior year. Uh-huh.
Right.
What's y'all secret to staying married so long? Four secrets,
Secrets.
tips,
It's it's
wisdom.
it's it's well. First, you need to make sure you have God in your family, first and foremost, because there. I mean, um, there'll be rough times, um, that you need to go to God in prayer to help you or help us or help our family to get through those rough times. But also, you need to have God in prayer to celebrate and thank God for just, blessing you for a lovely wife or a lovely husband, um, great, great family. So you need to be able to celebrate with God, in your life, in your family's life. That way, things will, you'll be able to navigate some of the highs and lows of marriage. Compromise. There would there is no boss in the household. Um, you got to do compromise. You got to get consensus. Um, Whoever has the experience in whatever subject matter that's occurring at the time, you got to lean on that person, whether it's your husband or wife. You got to lean on that person since they're the subject matter expert. Um, Now that sounds kind of corporate, but it's true. I mean, it's like, I know, since I handle the car maintenance, Mita would come to me and say, "Could you um, could you check this on our vehicle?" Um, if she's really knowledgeable on insurance, family insurance. So I would lean on her for her knowledge, since that's what her expertise was when she got to State Farm, years ago.
So
So
I was going to talk about being good friends. So
go ahead.
yeah, I can go ahead. I can
Yeah,
talk
you
about
go ahead.
that. And so I think a lot of times people think of love as, going on fancy dates and, the, I don't know, the big, you love me if you give me X, Y, or Z. And for us, by starting young, we've grown together. So we love each other as husband and wife, but also as friends. And we've moved around the country a little bit. And
Hmm.
so rather than when we're frustrated or something, it's not like call your friend and complain. It's like talk to your friend about how could we do this differently.
Right.
And I think we lean in on each other, as opposed to leaning out to other people. Whether it's solving a mutual problem or whether it's solving a thing that didn't go quite the way we had expected between
Hmm.
us or with our kids. Um, so it's really a lot about, how do we do this together and make the next decision together. And when we had our 25th anniversary, we renewed our vows. And somebody I think I asked a question like that. And I said, the days when you feel like, ooh, I'm not sure I can take another day, the question to God is, help me to stay quiet till tomorrow. And then be ready to have a conversation rather than say things that you can't take back and can't be unheard by the other person. Um, and I think sometimes that's what tears people apart. And we tried our very best not to do that.
Yep.
sweet. When did y'all get to Bloomington? The Bloomington Normal area.
Which time?
We've been here.
Well, tell me the travel pattern then. So
Okay.
y'all were in DC.
So
Y'all went to college in Virginia. So
and then when we graduated, we moved to
With
Charlottesville,
Churchill,
Virginia,
right?
and
Lived there till
we lived there
93,
from 86
6.
to 93.
Mhm.
And in that time, we shifted jobs. And so I was a teacher at first, and then I came to State Farm. So we moved to Bloomington in 93 for State Farm. And that's when Keith started too. And we were here till 97. And we moved to Boston Spa, New York. Well, we worked there. We lived in Saratoga Springs. And then we came back to Bloomington in 2001.
Mhm.
And when we came back, we first couple of years we were kind of thinking we might move again, and then we realized that we really liked it here, and we decided to put down roots and be a
Yep.
part of this community. So,
Yep.
and to raise our boys with the stability of building relationships and being able to see those all the way through school too.
Mhm.
how old are your sons?
30 and 27.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday, but
Yeah.
I keep trying to say I'm 30, but no, I can't.
So with having kids and growing, sometimes we see things don't always work out. That dynamic shifts.
hmm
And so, how did y'all still maintain y'all relationship with one another? But then now y'all have roles, not just husband and wife, but now as mom and dad.
We wanted to make sure that our sons, we model what a good relationship is for our sons. So that way, when they become involved with their significant others, um, that they have a benchmark, foundation to continue and be with that person for the rest of their lives. Um, and I think I mentioned earlier, our benchmark is my grandparents, who is they're in the Guinness Book of World Records, Herbert and Zellmeyer Fisher, for the longest married couple, and they had been married up until the time of my grandfather's death, almost 87 years. Um,
And
and
all of our parents. So there's like long marriages.
yes,
When my parents celebrated their 50th, I said to Keith and to my brother-in-law, "You guys need to strap in. We're in for
right.
for long marriages." So my parents were 51 before my dad passed. Your parents now at
Six,
62, 63,
will be 63 in June.
and my grandparents also long marriages until someone passed away. So
Yeah.
we hope that we have done the same thing. But kind of that you asked about the kind of roles in parenting. It was kind of like figuring out who needed to do what when and just trying to get it done. Um,
Yes.
and I appreciate that Keith didn't have a sense of, well, that's all your job because I was not good at all of it. We really did kind of figure out what each of us was good at,
Hmm.
what interaction with our sons worked best, and we tried to work through that way and show them a lot of love.
Yes.
And then a lot of couples have the biggest challenge when the kids grow up and leave. And for
Oh,
us, we remember being just the two of us for a long time before the kids.
right.
So when we were dating, and then before the boys were, before Cameron was born,
Right.
we had time. It was the two of us, and we enjoy our time together
Mhm.
in real simple ways, like going to get ice cream is sometimes what we did when we were college students,
Yep.
and what we still enjoy. And so when the last one went to college, we said goodbye. I shed a tear, and then we went to a restaurant to have start adulting instead of parenting.
Right.
We started like
Adult. Yeah.
adulting, empty nesting. So yeah,
Because
we're enjoying our time.
it was almost 8 years before Cameron was born that we had been without children. Um, our first 8 years of marriage,
Oh,
and then so we were used to it once they were off on their own. Um, but I want to kind of not go back, but one of the things, and our sons talk about it still to this day. Our road trips,
oh
some of them are just legend. Most of them are legend. But because um, we always drove from either upstate New York to back to the D.C. area or the um, Bowling Green area in Virginia, or we drove from here, like we do now, to D.C. There were always that was just uninterrupted family time for 1,000 miles. We're all captive, but we had some of the best road trips, whether we listened to songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that our sons now love. They always love them. Or we just talk, um, whatever somebody brings up. Those are some, but we have a strong, our family have a very strong bond because of those trips. Um,
Yeah.
Nothing was off limits when we were on those trips.
And we still do it. Like,
Yeah, we too.
yeah,
We
people say, "Are you gonna fly?" No, it doesn't even
mhm.
occur to us to fly if we're going together. We're gonna get in the car and we're gonna spend the time together starts at the driveway.
So we back up.
Once we back out of the driveway, we're on the trip, and we stop and eat wherever you want to eat, even if it's Oakland Avenue.
Yeah,
We have a good time.
we do.
Speaking of having a good time, y'all are heavily involved in the community and have been in different roles. Some you retired from, some you're still doing. Or what's the laundry list of accolades or community involvement that y'all have? Because and then I have a follow up question to that. But just
Okay.
listen.
Okay, so I have served on the Unified School Board. I did that for 17 years. Before that, I served on the Citizens Advisory Council. When I was in New York, I served on our Partners in Education between State Farm and the school district. So since I left teaching, I've been trying to support education wherever I lived. Um, I also am president of my sorority chapter here, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am on the for NAACP AXO program. I am the academic enrichment co-chair and the local competition co-chair, and I serve on the Pratt Music Foundation board and the Unified Educational Foundation board and the For Better Tomorrow Advisory Council. And there are a few other things that are one off here and there, but that's the main list right now.
Yeah. And for myself, I've coached basketball for from 2002 to 2019, with coaching my sons, and then having once they got older, they coached with me, which was a joy to see the things they learned from the time they played for me. Involved in scouts, started back in New York and continued when we moved back here in '01 until our sons, decided that they moving onward and upward from scouts. Involved with my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, chapter here. I served as president twice, as vice president once. I currently serve on a committee at the regional level and at the national level currently. And wherever we can fit in the community, we jump in because we love this community. We love the youth of the community and the people here. So we always try, wherever someone asks us if we can do something, then we do it. Oh, and we also do the Eastern Illinois Food Mobile once a month at Normal West High School.
How do y'all balance all that you're involved in, but still taking the time to love each other? I think it can be so easy to get caught up. I got to go to this meeting. The boys need to go to this practice, this, and then you're like, oh, who are you? Who is this person in my house?
Right.
That's a good question.
Well,
We do not have a standard family day.
right.
When the boys were home
Right.
on Sundays, we used to do like family meeting and
Game night.
we would game night and whatnot. Now that it's the two of us, it kind of like we run the calendar and then we're like, oh, on this date, neither one of us has let's plan to do something that day.
Right.
We have special days like birthdays and whatnot that
Right.
we have our traditions of dinner and whatnot. And
It,
most evenings now, because we work from home more, we do get to see each other during the day, a little glimpses during the day,
right.
and then dinner. Like together, it's kind of, but it's kind of like, like okay, dinner's ready at 5:30, and I'm gonna eat a little bit before I go to my 6 o'clock meeting, and he's gonna eat a little bit before 7 o'clock, and then we'll try to get back together about 9.
Right. But then we look at the calendar for the year. We're like, okay, we got that road trip, that road trip, that road trip, that road trip. I look back on the most recent year, 2023. It felt like we were more on the road.
24, yeah.
Just, it's those times during our road trips when there's nothing else going on. And when we do have our road trips, we don't have a lot of have tos.
Yes.
We make sure that so we can have just time for us um, away from our hustle and bustle of Bloomington Normal. Nothing wrong with that Bloomington Normal, but um, but we managed to get it in.
Yeah.
We managed to get it in somehow, some way. Something gets shoehorned in.
And it helps that we, just enjoy the simple time of being together,
Mm,
watching TV. You know, kids like some of the older movies. And so
mhm.
sometimes it's just, hey, you got to come see this movie. Do you recognize this person? Because, I would remember seeing them like maybe 30 years later in something, so they look different. And
Right.
so he's always quizzing me, like, do you recognize this person? So
Yeah,
that's
just
some of the
the
fun
yeah,
that's some of our fun.
yeah. Just I think a few weeks ago, we watched the Six Triple Eight together, and really enjoyed that. So there are some times where if it was a particular movie or TV show, we'll pause for the cause and we'll sit and watch it together.
Hmm.
And there are times we go to Tobin's Pizza.
Yeah, we've enjoyed that.
We enjoy going to Tobin's Pizza. We'll set aside time to just go and have pizza together.
And I like to run and bike and swim. And I have such a great, not just supporter, encourager, but cheerleader to encourage me to keep doing those things too. So, yeah. And then he enjoys pickleball.
Yep.
Okay, nice. When this airs and people look back in the archives and everything and looking at it, what do y'all hope people get from this, from y'all story?
That's a good question. I hope they get that long love is possible. Um, yeah, that long love is possible.
You just gotta you just gotta be willing to enjoy the ride
And change together.
and change.
I think
Because the
that's
people that we are now are not those 17-year-olds back in 1980 or the 15-year-olds that first
first
step
met.
foot.
But in some ways, we are the same people.
We
You know,
just more seasoned.
yeah. We just, in some ways, and I think when you marry somebody, whoever they are, don't expect them to be somebody different.
Right.
So when we got married, when we were young, I was like, I'm not really much of a cook. That's not quite my thing. And he was like, that's okay, I can cook. So we have both cooked along the way, but he's never said, now that you're married, you need to be cooking. He feeds me well.
Just just go with the flow. There'll be ebbs and flows. That's just lifing. Um,
It's a decision.
just make sure you resolve things as quickly as possible. If anger, and it's going to happen where two or more are gathered, somebody's going to get upset. I'm just keeping it real. So just make sure you get that resolved as soon as possible, because you don't want those things to fester,
Right.
and you don't want to hold those things inside, because what started as a small little thing could blow up, and it's not, as Mita said a few moments ago, you're going to say something that you can't take back. So
Yeah.
so just make sure you love each other, love on each other,
and make the decision to be married.
Right.
Like every day, make if that's the first decision, it helps you make all the other smaller decisions.
Yep.
It helps you make the compromise. Helps you decide to collaborate.
And the consensus, the
And the
three
consensus,
C's, the three
yeah.
C's.
Nice. I want to go back to the engagement. Did you suspect that you were about to get engaged around that time?
Um, Kinda. I mean, we had been together by then 4 years, 5 years,
4 years.
and I was kind of at the point where I hope we're going to get engaged because otherwise I need to catch one of these other guys before everybody graduates. So, um, you knew that, right? Anyway, um, so I kind of had a feeling.
It-
I mean, we were coming up to our anniversary, so
39
I was
years
hopeful.
ago.
We had been together for a long time, so I was hopeful that that was coming. So I could start planning.
Anything else y'all want to add that I may have missed?
Um,
No,
I think we covered quite a bit.
it's a blessing.
It is.
It is, and we're looking forward to the next 38 plus
Years.
plus years. That would get us what 76. Yeah, that's good.
That'd be at 76. We'd be close to my grandparents.
That'd be good. Yeah. So we're looking forward to tomorrow and all the tomorrows after that.
Yep.